Hello and welcome. First of all, I want to say that I hope everyone is as safe as can be during this corona crisis that we're having. I know that the amount of home assaults and domestic violence of all sorts and abuse has been skyrocketing globally. So I just want to send you any kind of virtual support that I can from here, from my home to you. Just know that I'm thinking about you, that I am coaching, I am helping people, I am observing what's happening, and also I am in the midst of exams in school right now, which is why I haven't been as active here on YouTube and on Facebook and other places as I normally am. So I apologize for my absence, but I'm here and I am working with people every day, just about, and spending any free hour that I can on supporting all of you from here, from where I am. So just wanted to send out support, to let you know that I know that it's really difficult right now, and I've made some videos. Actually, the couple of recent ones that are on my channel are about extending you some support during the time of the lockdown. So hopefully any of those tips were helpful to you. And now as we're emerging back out into the world, hopefully things will be a little bit better, but do please take precautions. This virus is no joke, and we need to be as safe as we can for ourselves and for our loved ones. So that's enough of an intro. Let's jump right into the topic today, which is that why is it so difficult? Why does it take so long to get over this damn narcissistic abuse experience, right, that we've been through? And actually, a lot of the answers deal more with our biology than they do with our cognition. Because what I am seeing over and over and over again in my conversations with people who have been through it, and also through my own experience, we get it with our minds so much faster than the body gets it. You know, we're waiting for that visceral experience of feeling relief, where all that pain leaves our body, and we just can finally breathe a sigh of relief and be like, oh, finally it's over. And it is kind of like that, you know, the experience of getting on the other side of it feels a lot like a bodily release, but it takes a while. It can take up to year and a half, 2 years before it's an extended, sustained period of peace. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't feel better sooner. I like to think of it in terms of 2-month iterations. It's going to be different for different people. But during the first 2 months of no contact or highly limited contact with your abuser, you're going to start feeling better. You'll have moments of clarity. Another 2 months is going to give you more of those moments of clarity and a little bit less of the flashbacks, and it's just going to keep improving. But even after a year and even 2 years, you may still have a moment where you remember something, but it's just not as much charged, right? Although it seems to be rare that after that long of a period you're still experiencing it. That's unless you continue to dwell on it and keep thinking about this person, and especially keep thinking about the good memories, right? They tend to have a real strong hold on us, and we fall into the trap of overriding the negative feelings, emotions, and memories with the positive ones because we want to get through it. So it's a tricky stage, right? It's a very tricky stage where we need to actually actively resuscitate the negative memories, which is why making a list and reading it is really helpful. But back to the biology, you know, like what happens to us physically when we're in an abusive situation can be summed up with one word, and that is overstimulation. You experience something called sensory overload because you go from pretty much, actually it's different for everyone, but it's usually from sort of a normal state to something that is extraordinarily intense. Or you may have had another intense relationship before, so your body is still in that mode. And then you have a moment of break where you feel like you actually kind of hit subterranean levels, where you go under the baseline. So you go from high up to way down, and you want to come out of it. So you meet someone else who sort of kind of reminds you of that other person, but they're maybe a little bit better. Maybe you went from overt to covert narcissist, and then you plunge right back into that same state, that state of intensity, which feels like you just gave yourself a shot of a familiar drug that you've been withdrawing from, which has given you those very negative, uncomfortable feelings. So biology is responsible for a lot of it, because you're going through ups and downs when you're with a person like that. They bring you up to the highest highs, and then they drop you down. They withdraw. They tell you something very critical. They make you go from being completely trusting of this person to saying something that is so deeply hurtful that it makes you withdraw and question, who is this person? But usually we turn the light right on ourselves. People who are conscientious do that. It's normal. It's actually healthy to ask yourself a question. Well, maybe I did something, right? It's a healthy thing to do in society. If everybody did that, we would live in a great world, much better for sure than we're living. But people who are manipulative and narcissistic, they never ask that question. They always point at you. They say, it's you. You did that. And if you are with this person for a longer period of time, and you hear that a lot, you're going to start believing in it. And very few people turn the situation around. And I think that that's a useful tool to do, something to try, where you turn it around and you ask yourself, what if I behaved like this person? And you imagine somebody else you're in a relationship with, or maybe you can go back to an earlier relationship so you can just sort of relive it. And you imagine taking on the behaviors of this narcissist and what kind of effect it may be having on the person that you're with. Right? So turn the situation around. It can be very helpful. And I guarantee you it's not good. What they're doing is not okay. So you're in this roller coaster, going up and down and up and down. And what do you think that's doing to your body? Right? The mind and the body are connected intricately. What you think is going to have an impact on how you feel. Right? I mean, the simple experiment is just imagine putting some lemon on your tongue, and you're going to start producing saliva just from the mere thought of it. Right? So it has an effect. Or when you're embarrassed, you blush. Yeah? Or when somebody's telling you that they're having a headache and you're highly empathic, you may start feeling a little achy yourself. So our thoughts influence our bodies. So your body is going to start feeling it. It's going to go also on a roller coaster. And two of the neurochemicals that are produced in the body when you're with somebody who is on one level, loving you and acting as you're the center of their world, which is usually how they behave in the beginning, or at least predominantly so, if they're not love bombing you, because they're not always going to love bomb you, but most of the time they will. So you're feeling this rush of chemicals. You're feeling this high, this feeling of closeness, oxytocin, norepinephrine, dopamine. It's novelty, it's new, it's intense, it's amazing. You feel like you went from sort of a normal, boring, maybe even a little boring life, which most of our lives aren't boring. It just seems like that in comparison to the intensity you're stepping into. And now you're in this fairy tale. You're being overstimulated. You're being taken on a ride, literally and figuratively. So then when you don't have that, when you say you spend a weekend with this person, and even though you've argued, but you also had, let's say, makeup sex, so you went through both sides of the equation, do you think that when you come home on Monday, you're going to be back to how you were before the weekend? No, you're not. The chemicals that were manufactured in your body from this experience are still going to be in your body. Now, imagine months or years of that experience. Your mind may get it. That's why you're watching these videos, you're reading about it, you're educating yourself, and you get it. You look back at the situation and you're like, oh my God, this is what this was. It all makes sense. The whole picture just now clicked. But why am I still feeling crappy? Well, you're feeling crappy because your body hasn't caught up yet. it's still in this roller coaster mode. That's why you're experiencing flashbacks. I'm gonna say something which may seem not really very well related, but it's about menopause. Women who go through menopause still continue having a cycle. They still feel like they may be a little more irritable during the time when they were PMSing, but they no longer have the symptom or the effect rather of having of menstruating, but they're still going through it. So it's the same thing. You may no longer be in a relationship, but your body still feels as if it is, and it just takes much longer. The mind can shift quickly. You can have an eureka moment quickly, but then the body is going to start bringing you back into those memories, and the brain is doing that, especially. The limbic brain is very powerful. In some ways, it can seem like our emotions are more powerful than our thoughts, because they sort of take over the whole body. You feel it all the way in your toes, and you still, again, you may be telling yourself, hey, I'm safe. I am in a good place right now. I don't want to be with this person. I'm happy to be out of this relationship. But you still have this sensation in your gut as if you were falling down from a roller coaster. Literally, it feels like you're dropping into this abyss. So, what do we do? What do we do with this? How do we come out of it? Well, first of all, we need to be patient, and we need to understand that this is something that's going to happen, and even expect it. So when the feelings come, when the flashbacks catch you, then you have to name it. You have to say that this is what you're experiencing, and actually vocalize it and say, okay, this is a flashback because I'm safe, I'm okay, but I am plunged back into the past. The past is just made its way into the present moment, and I just have to breathe through it and expect physical symptoms. Expect that there's going to be an increased heart rate. You may start sweating. You may start feeling achy and weak. Literally, like your knees may soften. You may feel like I gotta lay down right now. You don't have energy, right? So what worked for me the most is the mantra, I am safe. I still repeat it whenever I feel overwhelmed by anything. So I just say, I am safe, I'm okay, and really land in the present moment. Pay attention to things that are around you. Land in the sensory environment that you're in, so that you can detach yourself from the sensory attack from the past. Yes? So this is what the brain is doing. I'm just looking here quickly through my notes. Yeah, so the brain is used to stimulation and calm. Yeah? Dopamine, norepinephrine, cortisol, up. The oxytocin calms you down after you crash and you're back in that moment of going back up, when this person is reaching back into you, because you're now at a safe distance. They just pushed you away, and now they feel like, oh, I want to bring you back. I want to play with you some more, right? Or maybe you said something that angered them, and they have planned a retribution. They have planned a revenge, which is often what happens after you break up with a narcissist and they come back hoovering you, and you think, oh, it's the oxytocin again. You're feeling that, oh, they're back, they want me, they miss me. No. They usually are coming back to bring you back to the heights and then drop you even lower. So they're the ones who walk away. They're the ones who look at you and say, you think you could have won with me? No way. So be very careful with that. So the body is a chemical lab. It keeps producing those chemicals even long after you're no longer in the situation. And one of the things that fuels this chemical production is our thoughts. So be very careful what thoughts you're feeding your brain. Of course, there's going to be a degree of rumination that's unavoidable, but as soon as you can, try to change your attention and focus on things that make you feel good and calm. So the point is that you're going to have to restore calm back in your body. But you also need to restore calm in your mind. Even though you may restore the calm in your mind sooner by understanding what happened, the mind will lag. Just expect that. How do you restore calm? There are 3 strategies. One very effective one is meditation. So literally training yourself to break a train of thought. Just break it. right? And what I like to do is 2-minute meditations. It's all it takes, but it's a meditation that takes you from listening to your thoughts and being in the stream to only focusing on your breathing. And it's a hardcore practice. So it's not, going on a visual journey for 30 minutes, which is nice too, and that can calm your body too. But this is specifically to break the train of thought so that you know it's possible. You can actually shut the tape off whenever you want. So it's teaching you the ability to do that you're not at the mercy of your mind. You can turn it off. Another one is changing the environment. Very, very effective. You need to literally withdraw yourself from this person. So this is a technique of avoidance. You no longer are exposed to who they are, so your body has now a chance to heal. And finally, another one is setting limits. So that would be equivalent to saying that you're going low contact. Say you're at work and this person is working with you and you can't quit the job. You're not in a position to do that. Maybe not yet, right? Or maybe you really value your job and you don't want that to you don't want to have to change your life because of this situation, right? That's possible. You can do this. Is going to take a lot of strength, but you can do it, and you need to lower the contact as much as possible and be very mindful as to how you spend the time after you are exposed to that person and also before. And another situation could be that you have children and you can't, you're tied to this person. You can't just leave and walk away. So avoidance, setting limits, and meditation are really good ways to allow your body to calm so that you can step out of this state of overstimulation, which is usually why we suffer for so long, why it lags so long, why it takes so long. So just be patient, and paradoxically, the slower you go, the faster you move. I've noticed that for myself too, with things that I just don't like, that I want to get through, that I want to avoid. When I actually slow down and start paying attention, I land in the moment. And when I'm in the moment fully, then I'm no longer in my thoughts. So they don't have an effect on me anymore as much as they used to. And that allows me to disconnect from that train of thought that it's plunging me into that state. So hopefully this was useful for you. Do let me know in the comments. Again, I hope everyone is safe and is doing as good as possible. And I look forward to hearing from you. Take good care. Bye.